Hello and welcome to part 2 of this 10-part series on CAGED chords and arpeggios. If you haven't seen the other video yet, click on the card above and that will take you to the short video on major chords and arpeggios. So in this week's lesson, we're taking a look at CAGED minor chords and arpeggios. Let's take a look at the 5 open shapes first. This will be C minor, A minor, G minor, E minor and D minor, and then we'll move them up the neck. Okay, so C minor, little finger 3rd fret A string, first finger 1st fret D, middle finger 1st fret B string. Not the most common chord, but again you might use it, for example, part of the chord. For Billie Jean, for example, uses that kind of voicing. Can be quite nice, going for some variety. So that's C minor. Then we're going to do A minor, classic A minor chord, middle finger 2nd fret D, 3rd finger 2nd fret G, 1st finger 1st fret B. Again, root notes on A string. Then got G minor, 3rd finger 3rd fret low E, 1st finger 1st fret A, then open D, open G. Okay, so G minor, again, not particularly common. You don't want to hit the B and the E strings here, but great for assigning to arpeggios and again for more variety. Then E minor, middle finger 2nd fret A, 3rd finger 2nd fret D. Again, all 6 strings for that one. The root note is on the E, so it's going to really be conscious of the root notes here. Then we've got D minor, middle finger 2nd fret G, 3rd finger 3rd fret B, 1st finger 1st fret high E strings. Okay, so really common chord here. Okay, so now what we'll do, we're going to play this in the key of D minor. So firstly, before we move these chords up the neck, let's work out the intervals of D minor, okay? So you can see below the charts here that we've got 5 root and then flat 3, which basically means minor 3rd. So it's really good to understand before you start the arpeggios to be really conscious of the notes within the arpeggio. So the idea with the arpeggios is you're playing all the notes, the intervals that make up this chord in a specific area. So C shape, A shape, G shape. Okay, so if we're doing D minor, we've got a root note, a minor 3rd, which is 1.5 tones in size, and a perfect 5th, which is 3.5 tones in size. Okay, so say if we take D, so it's good to do this on the fretboard as well, just to clarify. So 1.5 tones, D, tone would be an E, and then a semitone would be an F. So to D to F would be 1.5 tones. Okay, now our perfect 5th is 3.5 tones from the root, but we could just do another 2 tones from the minor 3rd, F to G to A. That would be D, root note, F, minor 3rd, A, a perfect 5th. Okay, so you can see on the kind of charts here that every time you play C of 5 there, you know it's going to be an A. Every time you play a root, that'll be a D. The flat 3 would be an F. So in the key of D minor, you've got to just, for this arpeggio, it's just going to be the notes D, F and A. Okay, so let's take a look at moving these chords up the neck. So we've got C minor. Now I'm going to change my fingers to block off the G string. Bit of a stretch this one. Okay, then move that up 2 frets, C, C sharp, D. Again, you can see in the green dots and lines there where you put your chord. The numbers are going to correspond to what fingers I suggest to use. They don't have to be these fingers, it's just ones that I find works best for me, as long as it's quite consistent, okay? And then also you can see on the charts that I've put where the root notes are, which are really useful for soloing, etc. So I'm going to start off 3rd finger on the perfect 5th on the low E string, and then go to the root note, little finger, 5th fret A, middle finger, 3rd fret D, 1st finger, 2nd fret G, 3rd finger, 3rd fret B, and then I like to slide up to 6th fret on the B, and middle finger 5th fret high E. Again, it's good to be conscious of the intervals. So here you've got an A, you can even say it out loud to reinforce it. A, D, F, A, D, F, A. I like to get people to play the chord so they know where they are on the neck, and reinforce it, then play the arpeggio, and then finish with the chord. Really good. And eventually we'll use these shapes to assign to the minor minor scale as well, so really useful stuff. That's D minor, C shape. Now we're going to take that A shape and do the A minor. Now we're going to do D minor and the A shape. So the root note's on the A string. Just think about how we're going to move that up and bar, because it's got the open A and E strings, and then got A, and then we've got to move that to D. Now the C and the A shapes have the same root note, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. So this is now D minor, A shape. Okay, so if you look at the fingers I'm suggesting here, so 1, 1, 4, 3, 4, middle, first. If you think about that top half of playing that chord, I'm using the same fingers there. Okay, nice and consistent. Alternate picking as well. Really good for soloing ideas, different patterns. Because although all these notes are in the natural minor scale, or they're kind of, it's just really useful stuff. Okay, so that's the D minor A shape. So now we'll do the G shape. So with this one here, because we've got to block off those D and G strings, so just using your little middle fingers and block off the D and G. Okay, and now let's find our D on the E strings. That's where a G shape starts from. So that's the 10th fret of the low E. Again, it will take a bit of time to, again, your knowledge of where your notes are on the E, the A and the D strings are really useful. So little finger, 10th fret low E, middle finger, then 8, 7, 7, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 7. Again, just gives you some other ideas to work with your solos. And sort of locates all the triads nicely like that. Sounds really nice. Okay, so that is the D minor, arpeggio in the G shape. Again, you can even just double check all the root notes, all the notes within the arpeggio. D, F, A, D, F, A, D, and so on. Okay, so that's the G shape. Now we're going to do the E shape. Okay, so the way we do that, take our open shape if you get stuck, then think, okay, 3rd and 4th, move that up the neck. Then we've got D minor, again, same root note as G shape there. And then do the arpeggio, so 1, 4, 3, 4, 1, 1, 1, 4, 1. Sounds really good. Also, these are great for warm-up exercises as well. So do the chord, do the arpeggio, then finish with the chord to reinforce it. Okay, so with a D shape, you can actually do it in 2 positions here. You can even do it here, in the open position, where you might want to use slightly different chords, because there's a lot of people neglect the open positions. They realise that it's there. So that's actually the first available shape is actually the D shape. So if you look at the chord where the root note is, and you can actually fit this D shape in here. So 1, 0, 0, 3, 2, 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 0, 0, 1. Okay, so that's the D shape. So that's technically the first available shape on the neck for this key. And you can also do the same thing up here. So you take your D chord, think about how you're going to move that up the neck. So you need to close off this. You're always going to start your chords from the root note. So that's D, open D string. Move that up. Instead of being on the 0th fret, now 12th fret. So that's your octave. So middle, first, little, 3rd, little, middle. The way you find out what the first available shape is just find out where the first D is on the E, A or the D strings, open D string, work out where you can fit the arpeggio in that area. And this takes a bit of time, just persevere with it, and it sounds great. Okay, so we've just done all of the D minor arpeggios up to about here. Again, you can keep going. So we've done D minor, D shape, C shape, A shape, G shape, E shape, and then another. And practicing it like that is a great way of just learning everything up the neck. Okay, so what we'll do now, we'll just do it in this key of B minor. Okay, so the first thing you do is work out where your first B note is on the E, the A, or the D strings. Okay, it's the 2nd fret. Could we do the C shape? No, because it goes will go beyond the nut there. So it has to be our A shape. Again, thinking about the letters C, A, G, E, D. So B minor, so it'll be the A shape. Get our chord and then do the arpeggio. Okay, now we'll do the G shape, so you follow the letters in the word cage. After A, you've got G. Again, find your B note on the low E string. And after that will be E. And then D. Again, just using the fingers on the diagram. And then it'll be C. And then you can keep going, so A, G, you know, before you run out of space. Cool, so that's all the B minor arpeggios using this CAGED system. So it's really good. We also reinforce where all your chords are, where all your root notes are. There's lots of benefits to it. So also I'm going to put like kind of example of the tabs. I've made these in Guitar Pro, so as well as the PDF, if you wanted to get hold of any of these files, as well as this PDF, you can also get to practice these, and I've just tabbed them all out, all the ones I've done today, so D minor arpeggios and B minor into Guitar Pro, which is a great program, so you can use it to practice speeding up and slowing down your arpeggios. If you wanted to get both the PDF and the Guitar Profile, these will be available from my website, jsmusicschool.co.uk. So head to the JS Music School store there. So any files from the 10-part series will be available either in PDF format or in Guitar Pro format. So it'll be really good for your practicing. So yeah, so the idea is just to practice that all over the neck and really get to grips with it. And the idea is then to sort of chop and change. So we did D major today, so D minor today, then go, right, well, I'm going to do D major arpeggios, and then I'm going to do D minor. So you can chop and change between the different types. Cool, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. Any comments or suggestions, please let me know in the comments, and feel free to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications if you haven't already. Hope you got some value out of this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers, bye.